Hey, wobble, wobble, wobble. This is Downtown Adrian J with the kicking sounds in London town. How you going out there? Welcome along to Adrian J Online. Today we're going to have a look at the BMW. I almost said Porsche. Just want to show you really a few things that you should be doing and looking at when you're on your car. Just make sure you double check a few things. This is the title of this video is Serpentine Belt, and I'm going to talk to you about that. But I thought while I'm under here, just go through some things. These may sound like baby kiddie stuff, so hey, I know how to do this, and probably do. And there's probably some people out there who don't. So this is for a mixture of people. So let's go over, have a look at the car. So here, that's where you jump start. Always, if your car ever breaks down and you have to jump start, you can't never jump it from the battery. Always jump it from here. Positive there, with the negative terminal there. Okay, you'll blow things, you'll break things. Don't ever do that. So as a result, make sure these are all nice and clean. Windscreen wiper fluid, make sure that's full, because one, for safety, and two, I think in some states, if you don't have that full of water or with water, you can get none. Okay. Your coolant reservoir, make sure that's correctly done. If you look on here, you've got a little thing, so there's a little float. That's the minimum, and the maximum when it's that much above. You see in some YouTube videos that's all the way up. That's incorrect. That's a bleed screw for there. So also make sure there's no leaks or anything from there. Oil filler cap, again, might sound obvious, but check there's no leaks, because this is a point of failure. There's a seal under there which doesn't seal. If you don't, then that runs off. Okay, I've had a look around all the rest of the engine, and I know everything's good. You've got the alternator. This is what you definitely want to cover if you're ever going to do a screen, if you're ever going to do a wash. Okay. Oil filter is under there, so make sure there's no cracks, there's no oil leaking. And this is where your air filter is. Air filter is in there. That's your mass air sensor. I think that's a mass air sensor. May not be, but that's definitely a sensor in there. It goes round to the intake, and your intake is in there. That's your power steering fluid. Make sure that's all good. Make sure it's clean. Nothing's leaking out there. And now we're going to have a look at this is the AC. There's the AC lines as well. Also double check for like corrosion and stuff. So get a torch and have a really good look. And actually, for a car that's 8 years old, you know, it's really good. There's not a lot of not a lot of corrosion at all, because it's galvanized steel, and the Germans definitely know how to make decent cars. So I'm just I want to show you a couple of issues. Now, this is, if you remember from my other video, actually I don't think I did a video, but this is a point of contention. This generally tends to go. This is what's commonly known as the OFHG, or the oil filter housing gasket. Oil filter, this is the oil filter housing, and there's a gasket in there. Okay. Now what happens is, if this gasket goes, and what happened is there was a bad design from BMW and they redesigned it, so it should have really been a recall. But when that wears, what happens is there's a water pipe which goes into here, and can you see here, there's a water pipe which comes out, okay? And it cools the oil, actually. It's like an oil cooler. Some of the older ones, you've got an oil cooler there as well. What happens is this gets bad, it doesn't seal, and then you'll see drippings of oil. They should all be clear and clean. There shouldn't be anything on there, because I've done it. Now, if you see some videos, you'll see specks of white all over the place here. Like, can you see here? I didn't clean that, but I cleaned it here. And what happens is, that is a sure sign that this is gone. The oil filter housing gasket is gone, okay? Because basically water's leaking out, okay, under pressure. Or it could also even be that water's leaking out from there. But there's no other place water can come if you've got that. These are water spots, okay? Now, if you don't replace this, okay? If you don't replace that, you get an oil which goes down and across here, okay? And actually, before I go further than that, okay, so put that in the box and think about it. There's two other parts you have to consider on these on cars, okay? Let's go. You have what's a timing chain, which deals with the timing. Okay, and I don't want to get into that in too much depth, but basically you have two types of chain. You either have a timing chain or a timing belt. Basically it runs around the top here, goes down and up, and it deals with the timing. It's either a chain, like a bike chain, or a rubber belt. If it's a chain, you're better off because they don't generally wear and snap and break. They can, but generally they don't, and if you're going to replace them, it's like every 100 to 200,000 kilometers. Okay, the belts in some of the cars, especially the Porsches, have to be changed at like every 50,000 kilometers. Otherwise, if they snap, you have lost your engine. Now, you have also got what's called a serpentine belt. Now, the serpentine belt is called a serpent because it looks like a serpent. It goes all wiggly around. Now, I'm going to try and show you. It's really difficult, but I'm going to try and show you. I'm going to get my torchy. So this here, can you see this belt? So basically it goes all the way around. Now remember I said this was the alternator. It goes up over the alternator, it goes down, there's a pulley there, there's another pulley, there's a crank, there's another pulley here. On some cars which don't have electric water pumps, which we do, it goes round and drives a water pump and it goes up around on the way. So basically what it is doing, the belt is essentially using it to charge the battery from the alternator. That's what happens. Okay, if this belt snaps, what happens is basically you lose the ability to charge your battery. You also have very big issues if this snaps, because what happens is if this snaps, it gets sucked into the engine and your engine is toast. Your engine is toast. Now, this is very important to check this belt. And now I've checked it over and over again. So basically, this is how you check your belt. Let's see if I can get. Now, actually no, before I tell you how to check the belt, if you see here, remember I told you about this oil? Oil will drop from here. It will run down there, can you see? You've got a Vanos valve, Vanos solenoid, which goes inside there. That can also drip oil. And can you see here? Can you see the belt there? Oh, sorry, the pipe's under there, but it's a belt. Can't show you. But trust me, there is a belt underneath there, underneath this Vanos. And what happens is oil runs along there and drips on the belt. Oil and belts do not mix. They snap. It basically wears the belt. So what you want to do is a number of things. Let me get in. Is get your finger and rub on here. It should feel clean, dry, and not really. Okay. You should also be able to look at the belt to see if it looks like it's delaminated. This belt looks good. Now, can you see this pulley here? You can see there's ribs. See if I can get in a bit closer. There's ribs on there. So basically the belt goes all the way around. There's a pulley here and the belt is there. When you put your hand here, this should feel flush. Okay, this is one way you can tell if the tensioner, which is somewhere behind there. You see that there kind of thing there? I think I'm looking at the right spot there. Tensioner is under there somewhere. See, that's a tensioner. Okay. If the tensioner loses tension, basically what happens is it's a kind of a spring, and this has a lot of wobble on it, and basically the belt walks itself off the belt. Sorry, the belt walks itself off the pulley. So basically the belt can come off. Okay. And there's another pulley here. You can see this here? There's a pulley and there's like a cover. That goes noisy. It's that the bearing goes on that. These pulleys. And they can go noisy. So usually when you do the serpentine belt, or serpentine belt, depending on how you like to say, you get the belt, you get a tensioner, spring tensioner, and you need a nut, you need an alloy bolt for it, and you also need this idler wheel, and you change it out. It's a bit difficult is what I would do, and I'm looking at doing this at some stage. You need to pull this out, take the top cover off, and personally I would take all these gubbins out, because it's difficult to see in here at the best of times. Because what you actually have to do is you have to feed your hand in here, pull the belt out, then root the belt correctly. And as you can see, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to see at the best of times. I have to get a couple of really powerful lights and get them underneath there. But what I would probably do, I'd probably remove this, because it's nicely difficult to pull this out. Take this top bit out, move this pipe out of the way, and you've got a lot more space to see what's doing. You don't need to. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos where people have changed the Serpentine Belt, and they show you, and all you see is this. They say, okay, now you pull it out here, there, but you can't see it, right? So, anyway, that's what I just wanted to tell you. So, also make sure, have a good look around, make sure there's no rust, make sure nothing's damp, which should be damp. Any fluids, it's always a good sign. If you see dry cars, it's always good. So it's always a good sign. And that's it, really. So I hope you found this informative. Hey guys, I totally forgot one other thing that you can check for. If, especially in these days of COVID, if you're not using your car all that much, especially if it's an old one and on these N52s, E88, E81s, E82s with a blower fan, the motor fan, which you know from my previous videos has got stuck. Make sure that when you get into the car, at least once a week, hit that the blower fan at least onto one notch to get it to spin up. Because I've noticed it sticks, and the last time it stuck, I fixed it, and I think what happened was because I haven't been using it, it gets gunked up. Obviously if you've got a new fan, it's different, but just one thing you want to remember as well. Okay, don't forget that. I'm sorry if there's a lot of camera shake, because I'm just trying to get in. There's no way I can, even with a stand, that you can see properly what I need you to see. So I hope you don't mind that with a bit of wobble. But that's basically what I hope you liked this video. If you did like it, please like and subscribe. Hit that like button, punch it, smash it, put it into orbit. And if you didn't like the video, come and tell me. Absolutely fantastically tell me. I have no problem with that. And if you did like it, please tell others. So from yours truly, the Big J and J, saying peace out, unity I. I'm out of here like a thief in the night. God bless you.